Radio Migrante every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on CHRY 105.5 FM.
Magandang gabi po sa lahat na nakikinig sa atin dito lamang sa ating Radio Migrante sa CHRY 105.5 FM, your leading source for diversity. Maaari nyo rin kami pakinggan sa www.chry.fm at i-click lamang ang Listen Live, Bell 5973, Rogers Digital Cable 945 o sa tunein.com sa inyong mga smartphones or sa inyong mga web browsers. At ang inyong mga tagapaglingkod ngayong gabi ay si Rhea Gamana, Ish Cabanya at Kuya Louie Kianyo. Magandang gabi sa inyong dalawa. Actually, si Tita Pet nandito rin pero babalik siya maya-maya lamang. So, bumati naman kayo.
Magandang gabi din sa tagapakinig ng Radyo Migrante.
Oh, mukhang hindi kita naririnig, Kuya Louie. Hindi.
Yeah. Yung mic ko rin kaya kailangan kong i-adjust kasi para siyang shower. If you're here in the studio, you could see ang taas-taas niya. Ayan, no? Okay.
Magandang gabi po.
Hindi pa rin.
Wala pa rin.
Hindi pa rin. So, mamaya lilipat ka kasama.
Sige, pwede naman tayo mag-share. Ayan, hindi na mukhang shower yung mic ko ngayon.
Ayan. Magandang gabi po sa mga nakikinig ng Radyo Migrante. Magandang gabi, Rhea. Magandang gabi, Ish. Magandang gabi, Tita Pet.
Tita Pet.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong...
Hindi pa rin.
Hindi po gumagana yan, Tita Pet.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat at sa inyo, Louie, Ish at Rhea.
Magandang gabi. Okay. So ngayon po sa Radyo Migrante ay meron tayong recorded interview. Ginawa po natin to almost 2 weeks ago. Kausap natin 2 weeks ago ay ang Anak Bayan Toronto, ang mga miyembro po ng Anak Bayan Toronto. Tinanong po natin sila, sino-sino o ano ba ang Anak Bayan Toronto at gaano kahalaga ang kanilang youth organizing at saka meron silang event na tinatawag Nagdiwa ng Kasalan. So mamaya maririnig natin ang mga detalye mula po sa mga miyembro ng Anak Bayan Toronto. So first, news and headlines. Sino ang gustong mauna? Kuya Louie, gusto mo mauna?
Okay, sige, mauna na ako. Ito ang unang balita ngayong gabi. US group urges Pinoy to stop Jalur Dam project. President Benigno Aquino III has been urged to stop the construction of the Jalur River Multipurpose Project Phase 2. The 111.2 billion mega dam project in Kalinog, Iloilo can cause adverse effects on the environment and the indigenous peoples in the area, said the Ecumenical Advocacy Network on the Philippines in a letter to the President. The dam is not only answer to improve irrigation and water supply in Iloilo, said the U.S.-based human rights group in the letter to Aquino yesterday. According to them, and I quote, small-scale water impound projects will do, unquote. EANP is a network of individuals, organizations, and groups in the U.S. advocating restrictions to military aid appropriations to the Philippine government until there is compliance with national and international standards of human rights. The Tumandok people, they claim, were made to sign waivers without an understanding of what these documents say.
Mm-hmm. And for our second news, Pinoy to make nationwide address on current issues, according to the palace. President Benigno Aquino III will make a national address on current national issues on Monday, today in the Philippines. Malacanang said Saturday. In a statement, Presidential Communications Operation Office Head Herminio Coloma Jr. said, in quotes, broadcast networks have been requested to air the President's speech on current national issues. He will deliver the speech in Malacanang Palace, unquote. He did not elaborate about that speech. Aquino's upcoming speech comes in the wake of controversy over the Disbursement Acceleration Program, or DAP, or DAP, some parts of which the Supreme Court had deemed unconstitutional. The High Court's ruling had prompted calls for the resignation of Budget Secretary Florencio Abad, who on Saturday took full responsibility for his role in developing and implementing the DAP. But on Friday, Aquino said he rejected the resignation of Abad.
The third news item, Luisita farmers deprived of food and income. On July 8th in Sitio Maligaya, Mapalac-Siao village inside Hacienda Luisita, a blue tractor then ran over the newly planted chili and peanut plants, and after doing so, 12 banana trees were razed to the ground in just a minute. Farmers Rebecca Santos, Neng Pineda, Teresita Ocampo, and Reynaldo Ocampo attempted to defend the 9.1 hectare land they have cultivated for the past 9 years. Their efforts proved futile as fully armed policemen and personnel from the Provincial Agrarian Reform Office, or PARO, led by lawyer Jose Eduardo Narciso, facilitated the destruction of their crops. The incident is the latest of a series of bulldozing activities targeting agricultural lands inside the hacienda that began in December 2013. Almost 53 hectares of land planted to palay, vegetables, and fruit trees are part of the tillage campaign of the Alianza ng Magbubukid sa Hacienda Luisita, or AMBALA, since 2005 have already been destroyed. Supporters of the AMBALA's tillage campaign condemned what they called as, quotes, attacks against the Hacienda Luisita farmers. Alfredo G. de la Mines, organic farming specialist of the Ecotech Masipag, told Bulatlat.com in a phone interview, open quotes, this is a clear case of transgression. The farmers are the owners of the land. Why would they harass the farmers? Close quotes. DAR, or Department of Agrarian Reform, should listen to the farmers, Father Jesse Dumawal said. He said that DAR should have allowed farmers who have cultivated the land since 2005 to stay where their farms are located. Both supporters have called on Hacienda Luisita farmers to defend their tillage campaign.
Yun po ang ating news and headlines ngayong gabing ito.
And for tonight, we have featured interview Anak Bayan Toronto members. Anak Bayan Toronto is a comprehensive youth and students movement which is based in different local chapters around the world. So there are about 184 chapters, 20,000 plus members in the Philippines, in Canada, in the US, and somewhere else in between those countries. So as far as the history of the Philippines is known, the youth have been instrumental in the movement for social change. So tonight, with Sarah Salice, Secretary General of Anak Bayan Toronto, and Marie Acejo, also a member of that organization, they will tackle about their organizing efforts in Toronto and their upcoming activity called Diwa ng Kasarinlan. Diwa ng Kasarinlan is a celebration and a commemoration of the founding of the movement during the Spanish colonial period called the Katipunan.
Magandang gabi po. Ako po muli si Rhea Gamana dito lamang sa Radio Migrante sa CHRY 105.5 FM, your leading source for diversity. Introduce yourselves, who you are, and what is Anak Bayan.
Magandang gabi sa lahat. Ako si Sarah, member ng Anak Bayan Toronto.
Magandang gabi po. Ako po si Marie Acejo, member din po ng Anak Bayan Toronto. So, ano ba ang Anak Bayan? So, Anak Bayan is a comprehensive National Democratic Youth Organization. So, isa siyang chapter ng Anak Bayan Philippines. So what do we advocate for? We advocate for issues involving specifically, we focus on the youth, although yung issues that we cater to or advocate, hindi siya exclusive. What we strive for is to educate, mobilize, and organize the youth here in Toronto and make them aware of issues not only relevant here in Canada but also going back to the Philippines. You always have to go back to the Philippines. Yeah, I think that's the gist of it.
That's right. I agree.
Nabanggit ni Marie, comprehensive. Ano yung comprehensive at bakit comprehensive?
Comprehensive siya kasi this is just one sector, one part of the youth sector ng National Democratic Movement sa Pilipinas. So, ang comprehensive meaning ng sa Anak Bayan is that we are student and youth. So, kahit hindi ka man estudyante, hindi ka high school student, hindi ka university or hindi ka college student, or nabahante ka na youth ka between the 13 and 35 years old, pwede kang sumali sa Anak Bayan.
Ngayon na, Marie, you said na babalik, no, doon sa Philippines. So, ibig sabihin, babalik sa roots, sa history. Siguro, pag-usapan natin, ano yung brief history ng organizing ng Anak Bayan dito sa Toronto?
Ang organizing dito, kung yung current na grupo na Anak Bayan ngayon, yung pagkagawa ng chapter, nagsimula talaga siya nung 2011. Dati, it was sa 2011, organizing committee pa siya. Hindi pa siya official. Later on, the next year, 2012, yung organizing committee with kapisanan to have fundraising for relief para sa mga biktima ng Typhoon Sendong sa Pilipinas. So that was in 2012. So doon na rin na-push yung nasa organizing committee and nabuo siya. Yung outreach rin, doon na rin I guess nag-grow sa 2012. So naging official din siya by the end of that year. So December 1st actually, 2012, ginawa talaga was the founding of making it official that it's gonna be an Anak Bayan chapter.
So founding assembly.
Founding assembly, yeah. So official na siya na chapter ng Anak Bayan dito sa Toronto mismo. The very first one here in Canada.
Siguro from that, ano yung mga na-encounter nyo yung mga issues na mga kabataang Pilipino dito sa Toronto? At saka, siguro paliwanag nyo lang kung how do you respond to those?
Okay, I guess isa sa mga striking na concerns ng youth or issues ng youth is Filipino youth mas higher rate ng dropout sa schools or they have a tendency not to go to college or university. Sa mga reasons is high tuition fee rates. We see na mataas ang tuition fee rates. Bakit siya mabigat sa mga Filipino youth? Because of typical sa mga Filipino youth to go into the minimum wage jobs. So, dahil yun nga, yung typical how much ang in-earn? 10, 25 and you have to go to university, how much is ang per semester? 15,000 and up. Paano masusustain na minimum wage ang tuition fee? So what Anak Bayan has been doing we joined the minimum wage campaign. So we do petition signing, use of social media. So we are striving and advocating for that para ma-alleviate yung burden sa Filipino youth when working and para hopefully makatulong sa kanilang financially. Thinking sa mga issues. Ano pa ba? Yung issues ng live-in caregiver. Although yun ay hindi directly sa youth, may direct implication siya sa youth, especially sa family. Yung family reunification, it has hindi lang siya financial yung impact niya but also psychological, social, very holistic yung issue na yun, yung live-in caregiver program. Malaki impact not only on the youth but the family, Filipino family.
Research, yeah. Marami, some of our members help out sa background ng mga research, so they help out promote events.
Basically, what you're doing is sa Anak Bayan ay yun nga yung nabanggit mo nun, yung family reunification, may direct implication dun sa mga kabataang Pilipino. So, ibig sabihin, you're advocating for national industrialization sa Pilipinas kasi ang sa Anak Bayan, you advocate for national industrialization sa Pilipinas para hindi na magkahiwalay mga pamilya.
Oh.
I think, yeah, I mean, connecting it to the labor expert policy. So we push for yung industrialization, jobs in the Philippines, so we don't have to have forced migration. Bakit nga ba in the first place, why are we here? And why once parents move out of the country, they bring out their children, the youth. So yun yung what we are addressing now, Anak Bayan Toronto is addressing is yung mga effects ng forced migration, yung live-in caregiver program. So pretty much yung ina-address natin is yung bumabalik pa rin tayo sa issues na caused from the Philippines. Walang jobs. It's far-reaching, kumbaga. I guess going back to the live-in caregiver program, what we have been doing is also working with other organizations, a Caregiver Action Center that actually provides support sa mga caregivers, and they provide tax clinics, which is really helpful.
The issues of the live-in caregivers and family reunification, that's one part of what we do in terms of advocating for the rights of migrants. At saka, on the other side naman, we have been partnering with and advocating for youth, or also reaching out to youth sa mga problema nila, sa mga the problems that they face, especially towards police violence. So we nagjo-join din kami sa mga campaigns. For example, earlier this year, yung anniversary nga ng Justice for Jeffrey campaign, yung 10th year anniversary ng death niya, we were there in support because some of our members were also there from from when it happened 10 years ago. At saka, we are also partnering with CASJ,
Community Alliance for
Social Justice, yeah. Kasi yung pattern kasi may trend na maraming kabataang Pilipino na lalaki, especially dito sa Canada, na abuso or na nagiging victims of police violence throughout Canada. Tapos mga ano sila, like kabataan, like from 15 years old to 23 years old. So these are at the height of their youth, ang kabataan. So we are asking why and that this should stop. Ano ba talaga, bakit ba ito nangyayari? Hindi lang isa. On our records, may 6 na kabataang Pilipino na namatay actually on the hands of the police dito sa Canada. So, yun yung ongoing pa rin. At saka, we are hoping to reach out to more youth and have them get involved on these issues because it's not just for Filipino youth too. It's also for racialized youth. It's a big problem in the racialized community here in Canada and throughout America, I would say so.
Since napapag-usapan natin yung mga current campaigns ng Anak Bayan Toronto, recently, you had an opportunity to work with UFCW through Students Against Migrants Exploitation. Please tell our listeners about it.
Yung UFCW, United Food and Commercial Workers, yeah. Yung union, may youth, sector sila na nabibase sa mga university. May mga chapters sila sa mga university. Tapos, ang ginagawa nila is that every March, pumupunta sila, or every beginning of the year, umiikot sila sa mga university and colleges dito sa Ontario, promoting their campaigns to have students involved for Students Against Migrant Exploitation, or SAME. So, ang ginagawa nila is awareness, definitely, on the abuses and the exploitation that migrants have been facing. Not just, this is actually yung migrants na what they are focusing on are the temporary agricultural workers. At saka, of course, kasali na rin yung live-in caregivers. So that's on the other part na involve yung Anak Bayan kasi kami yung nagbibigay ng context ng yung live-in caregivers while sila, on the other hand, yung agricultural workers.
And again, it all comes down dun sa yung direct implication ng mga kabataan, whether anak ka ng isang live-in caregiver, anak ka ng isang ng agricultural worker. Napakalaking impact, no, sa mga kabataang Pilipino. At saka sa ano na din kasi since to siya, 'di ba? It's a solidarity work, no? So yung impact hindi lang sa mga kabataang Pilipino kundi sa lahat ng mga kabataan na racialized. So from there, meron isang event na tinatawag na Diwa ng Kasarinlan. Please tell our listeners about it.
Okay. Yung Diwa ng Kasarinlan, siya? It's an annual celebration of Filipino pride. Tsaka the type of Filipino pride that we're talking about is the one that comes from our history. Ang tawag nga namin dyan is history of epic struggle, quote unquote. Wow. Kasi yung epic struggle talaga na buhay pa rin sa Pilipinas at saka nandito rin, especially sa labas ng Pilipinas, is yung liberation ng mga Pilipino. Yung totoong liberation talaga.
Ano ibig sabihin?
Liberation kasi going back in history, yung struggle of the people in the Philippines, it all started when the people who are living in the Philippines are under the Spanish colonization. At saka galing dun, may mga tao na of course not everybody likes that. At saka lahat naman siguro ng Pilipino, or maybe not lahat, most of the Filipino, the masses na Filipinos na abuso ng colonization. So, galing doon, it eventually, a group of people, like-minded individuals, came together, and which led to the actual formation of the Katipunan, which is the secret society.
Okay, so yung Katipunan, it was founded July 7, 1892. That's why we are celebrating Diwa ng Kasarinlan July. So we're trying our best to close to that date. Anyway, so ano ba yung essence ng Katipunan? It was for national independence. So bakit namin sineselebrate yung Diwa ng Kasarinlan? Because we still believe na andun pa rin yung hold ng mga colonizers sa Philippines. Hindi pa talaga tayo independent in the sense na malaki pa rin yung influence ng US imperialism sa bansa. So we hold this event to educate, to also not only educate but also to showcase yung culture, to gather Filipino youth and the Filipino community and celebrate this.
Ito yung pride na masasabi namin. Right. It's not just yung talent, which of course is there. Yung pride na galing talaga sa ating history, kung yung story of the Filipino people and how we continue to struggle and even despite this continue to fight for kung ano yung karapat-dapat sa atin.
So basically, ang ginagawa ninyo sa Anakbayan is balikan yung roots, history of the Filipino people and the Filipino struggle nung kapanahonan ni Andres Bonifacio through yung as far as I know, yung performances, yung talents, for example, tapos yung mga speaking engagements from different community organizers and community partnerships. So speaking of Diwa ng Kasarinlan, ano yung expectation ng mga tao pumunta sa Diwa ng Kasarinlan? What will they expect to see there?
Okay, yung Diwa ng Kasarinlan, which translate to the spirit of independence. It's a free day. It's a free event. It's from 1 to 4 p.m. Sa Ryerson University. On that day, we will have a lot of musical performances at saka speakers din tayo. Marami. Actually, we have a lot, really good listings of Filipino talent.
Sino-sino ba sila?
Yeah. Number 1, yung Southeast Cartel. They have been performing sa event sa Diwa ng Kasarinlan for years now. So we're glad to have them back. At saka another returning performer, yung No Budget Band.
It's a very exciting siguro.
Yes, for sure. It's not only just a showcase of culture and talent, but it's tied up to current issues and yung what Anakbayan has been striving for. So it's issues about independence. It's about the youth. It's about issues in the Philippines now we have to still address yung struggle pa rin. So it's gonna reflect that and it's gonna echo that message in Diwa ng Kasarinlan. So people would expect education, fun, and learning and learning more about the Philippines and new issues, current and new history.
So paki-invite yung mga nakikinig sa atin sa Radyo Migrante dun sa Diwa ng Kasarinlan.
So again, we're inviting you actually. We're looking forward to meeting you sa Diwa ng Kasarinlan, July 19th. It's a Saturday. It's a free event, 1 to 4 sa Ryerson. So hope to see you there.
55 Gold Street, no?
55 Gold Street, sa downtown Toronto. Malapit lang sa Dundas Square.
Mensahe ninyo sa mga kabataang Pilipino nakikinig sa atin and in general, kasi worldwide tayo, mensahe sa mga kababayan natin na nakikinig sa atin dito sa Canada, sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo.
Oo. Maraming mensahe. Tuloy natin ang laban. Ituloy ang laban. Makibaka, wag matakot. No. Ang mensahe, is that siguro imulat natin ng ating mga mata. I mean kahit kami kabataan, we still have a lot to learn, especially about our history. Kasi nandito kami sa labas ng Pilipinas, so we don't have it's not in our school curriculum, right? So one way of educating ourselves or educating the youth about the Philippines, the culture, the politics, and everything that's in between is through joining organizations, something like Anak Bayan, and attending events, something like Diwa ng Kasarinlan. So I think, especially worldwide, supportahan natin ang mga organisasyon, especially led by ng mga kabataan, at saka yung nag-a-advocate din sa mga Filipino rights around the world, no? Kasi yung mga Pilipino na nasa different parts of the world na international, yeah.
I guess for me sa youth, get involved. I think yun yung very important na we have to get involved, be active, educate ourselves. Hindi lang importante na nagsi-school. It's important na we join the masses. Understand talaga yung situation ng masa, ng workers, ng youth, kasi yun yung makakatulong sa Pilipinas, sa bansa natin, yung sa community, also the Filipino community. So get involved and go out there. Join Anak Bayan.
Join Anak Bayan. Don't forget your roots. Yung pagka-Pilipino, nandyan talaga. You can't erase it. You can't just cover it up with something white. You can't put makeup over it. Pilipino ka talaga.
Maraming salamat, Marie Acejo and Sara Salice of Anak Bayan, Toronto. Thank you.
So, yes, so that was our featured interview, but we still have, I guess, some clarifications, comments, and questions maybe among our guest hosts tonight. So, Kuya Louie, do you want to start?
Siguro palawigin natin ang ibig sabihin ng diwa ng Kasarinlan, So ang diwa ng Kasarinlan, ito yung spirit of resistance, na nagmula pa ito doon sa 1896 revolution, na inililipat lang natin sa ating mga kabataan, sa mga bagong henerasyon. At natutuwa tayo dahil may mga ganitong klaseng pagtitipon na ipinamumulat natin at ibinabahagi natin sa ating mga kabataan ang ating rubdob ng ating paglaban sa kolonisasyon, Sila kasi yung nagpatanggal ng ating spirit of resistance o ng ating diwa ng pakipaglaban o diwa ng ating paglaban lalo na sa imperialismo, na siya namang tunay na kalaban ng mamamayang Pilipino. Ang mga kabataang Pilipino ang siyang talagang tunay na pag-asa ng ating bayan. Kitang-kita natin ang sigasig ng mga kabataan na labanan ang mga api sa ating mamamayan. Kaya nakikiisa ang mga kabataan sa mga gawain ng ating mga kasama sa sektor ng mga magsasaka, sektor ng kababaihan, sektor ng mga estudyante, sa lahat ng sektor na inaapi sa bayan. At itong gagawin na diwa ng Kasarinlan, ito lang ay nagpapakita kung gaano kalakas at kadedikado ang ating mga kabataan na ipagpatuloy ang diwa ng revolusyon ng 1896, Tita Pet, hindi ba yun?
Oo, agree ako dyan tungkol din sa spirit of resistance being symbolized in the 1896 revolution. Pero isipin din natin na nag-umpisa yan talaga yung pagtuntong ni Magellan sa ating lupa ay kinalaban siya ng mga Pilipino, right? At kaya nga napatay ni Magellan siya. So ni Lapu-Lapu, sorry. Oo. So ngayon, at saka in between yung 3 centuries and more na yan, maraming mga nag-resist. Kaya lang naging mas mas matindi siya noong 1896 nga. Like parang siya yung na nag-draw ng lahat ng mga tao na talagang nakikita nila yung pangangailangan na mag-resist dun sa mga Espanyol. Nagpatuloy yan sa iba pang colonization sa atin. Yung mga yung unang occupation sa atin ng Amerika, nagpatuloy yung mga natirang mga tao from KKK, nagpatuloy sila na pag-resist at tinuloy din ng mga tao nung panahon ng Hapon. So mahaba yung ating kasaysayan bilang taong lumalaban para sa ating karapatan at sa para sa ating lupain at sa ating kasarinlan nga. So kaya nakakatuwa na marinig mula sa mga kabataan natin ngayon na kahit sila ay wala sa Pilipinas mismo, alam nila kung anong kalagayan ng ating bansa at ng ating mga kababayan, no? So talagang may ugat pa rin yung diwang yan sa ating mga katauhan. So yung hanggang ngayon kasi nakikita rin nila ng kabataan, I think, na yung kailangan pa rin yung pag-resist diyan dahil nga yung mga kalagayan pa rin ay dapat pa rin kalabanin, right? Human rights sa ating bansa at yung mga issues ng mga migrant workers dito, nangangailangan pa rin ng ating pag-voice out unang-una na nung mga issues na yan at lang ating protesta sa ganyan. So, kailangan talaga ipagpatuloy yung ganong diwa.
At isa pang dagdag dyan, no? Itong diwa ng Kasarinlan ay kinikilala rin ang mga kontribusyon ng mga kabataang aktivista, no? Na naging bahagi ng resistance, no? Mula kay Eman Lacaba, kay Lorena Barros, ang FQS kung saan maraming kabataan ang talagang nanguna para labanan ang diktadurya, no? At itong mga pagkilos na ito ay kinikilala ng diwa ng Kasarinlan. Kaya diwa ito, pinapakita dito ang malaking kontribusyon ng kabataang Pilipino na siyang magpapatuloy ng paglaban sa mga kakaaway ng sambayan ng Pilipino. At ang mga kabataang Pilipino na tulad nitong huli ang paglaya halimbawa ni Erickson Acosta, no? Si Erickson Acosta ay nakulong dahil ipinaglalaban din niya ang mga kalaban ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Kaya nagpapasalamat tayo dito sa Diwa ng Kasarinlan sa kanilang programang ito lalo na ngayon, no? Issue dito yung SONA, no? Na dadalahin din ng mga kabataan, itutuloy ito at nagpupugay tayo sa masigasig na mga kabataang ito. Mabuhay kayo.
Ish?
Gustong-gusto ko rin yung titulo na Diwa ng Kasarinlan kasi pwede siyang i-deconstruct into different meanings. Yung mismong Kasarinlan, pwede siyang self-reliance, self-determination, o sustainability. Yung tatlong yon, sinasabi nating pag-asa ng bayan at dun sa pamamagitan ng pagkilos ng mga kabataan, dun natin mapupunan na meron palang alternative na solution dun sa mga existing nating mga problema sa lipunan. Na meron pang mga pwedeng gawin na hindi pa nagagawa dito sa labas ng bansa at kung saan man sitwasyon yung mga Pilipino.
Palagay ko rin yung Diwa ng Kasarinlan, pinakikita rin, nagsasalita din ito dun sa mga kabataang Pilipino na anak naman ng mga migrante, no? Na sila din ay apektado ng globalisasyong suliranin na nagpapahirap sa kanila.
Oo, tama yan. Yung marami tayong mga issue ngayon dito sa Canada na kailangang harapin, kamukha ng yung Temporary Foreign Workers Program na yan na iniiba ngayon ng mga mga regulations at policies, no, na nakikita natin na magiging problema dahil maaring mapaalis ang maraming tao, no, at malaking problema yan dahil kaya tayo andito unang-una na para makahanap ng mabuting trabaho para sa ating mga pamilya. Pero yung naiwan din nating na mga human rights problem sa Pilipinas, gusto ko pa rin idagdag na patuloy pa rin yan, nag-escalate. Lalo na kung kailangan tayong laging tumingin doon sa mga balita. Kamukha na ngayon, merong bagong balita ang Gabriela sinasabi na yung mga victims ng Typhoon Haiyan ay nagkakaroon ng yung maraming rape cases na lumilitaw, na patuloy na dumadami hanggang ngayon. Yung mga ganun ba na kailangan yung sa current na issues na sumusulpot, kailangan mapagbantay din tayo kung ano yung mga yan.
Kaya dun sa tanong kung kailangan pa rin ba nitong ganitong klaseng aktibidad, tingin ko ay tamang-tama na merong ganitong diwa ng kasarilan. Bukod pa dun sa mga pageant, sa mga pa-contest, sing-along competitions na ginagana para sa pagsaselebra ng Independence Day ng Pilipinas. So, timing na timing ito. At
Up next, ang ating Pulso ng Migrante segment kung saan i-feature natin ano nga ba ang Filipino pride para sa ating mga kabataan.
What's up, everybody? This is Kiwi Elefante, representing Native Guns, Bandung 55, as well as Bayan USA from the Bay Area, California, in the United States. Filipino pride, I used to think Filipino pride was things like pancit and lumpia and Manny Pacquiao and, tinikling, which is all which are all different factors and different qualities of Filipino life. But I feel like a light bulb really came to me when I learned about our people's history of resistance, whether it was the centuries of resistance to Spanish colonization, whether it was the Philippine American Revolution, the Katipunan, whether it was the fight, the Hukbalahap versus the in World War II versus Japan, and all the way up to today, the warriors in our community that are fighting for justice, for land rights, for equality in our homeland in the Philippines, but also all over the Philippine diaspora, wherever we're spread out, whether that's in the United States, Canada, Europe. I feel like organizing is something that's almost like in our blood. Some of the strongest organizations, like on campus, are the Filipino organizations. They might not be, maybe they're not political organizations, but they're the ones that really have this organizing, mobilizing and getting people together down. And even in in California, in the farm worker struggle back in the day, the Filipinos were the ones that were more radical. They were the ones that really helped spark the farm worker struggle and United Farm Workers back when Cesar Chavez was a part of that as well. In fact, the Filipinos' story is the one that's less told, but it's actually the one that's more important, in my opinion. And so today we have a lot of amazing Filipino community organizing happening, especially in the United States, especially where I live in the Bay Area, California. A lot of strong organizing happening, both on a local level but also internationally. The support work that we do for the Philippines back home. Right now, there's a lot of mobilizing around Typhoon Haiyan and really bringing real relief work, not just on a short term, but on the long term as well, and addressing not just the issues of natural disasters as they come, but also in terms of just like what are the conditions that exist in the Philippines right now that are causing such calamity when these sort of natural disasters happen, and trying to address those as well. And so yeah, I feel like I'm proud to be a part of that struggle, to be a part of that movement, to be a part of the National Democratic Movement of the Philippines. And, that's what Philippine pride is to me.
Any message to our kababayans who are listening tonight at Radio Migrante?
I was actually, I'm born and raised in the States, in Los Angeles, California. And in some ways I didn't really have a sense of my Philippine identity, let alone Philippine pride growing up. And I think it's a process. And I feel like identity is a huge part of that process. But I also wanted to encourage and challenge people to look beyond just identity and also think about the struggles around class, that, like being involved beyond just, I am Filipino, but like really getting involved in, the struggle for social justice and equality.
Maraming salamat, Kiwi Ilyafonte. Para sa'yo, ano yung ibig sabihin ng Filipino pride? Halimbawa, kapag nananalo si Manny Pacquiao, nire-represent niya yung mga Pilipino sa larangan ng boxing. Ganun ba ang ibig sabihin ng Filipino pride para sa'yo? Or may iba pang halimbawa kung paano tayo maging proud bilang Pilipino kahit na nasa labas tayo ng bansa?
Yung sa Pacquiao na part is Filipino pride yon, pero hindi naman talaga dapat na maging pride every time na lumalaban lang siya or may Pinoy or artista na nananalo somewhere around the world. It should be, dapat proud tayo as a Pinoy every day kasi we're Filipino na hindi natin kinakahiya yung race natin. You know, yun lang.
Kahit yung, halimbawa, kahit na nandito tayo sa Canada, ginagamit pa rin natin yung sariling wika natin, no? Yung hindi ibig sabihin na kahit nandito tayo, nakakalimutan na natin yung wika natin. Diba?
Yeah, kasama din yun as a Filipino pride, yung language. Kasi pag nagtagalog tayo, that means we're Filipino, diba? So that means we're proud to be Filipino. Pero on the other side, kahit na nag-English ka, hindi naman ibig sabihin na iya ka sa na Pilipino ka. Kasi nag-English ka lang kasi gusto mo mag-English, komportable ka magsalita. Pero mas better, especially pag naipag-usap ka sa mga Pinoy, na magtagalog ka kung marunong ka magtagalog. Kasi it's a sign of respect din, di ba? Ako po si Sanroy at nakikinig po kayo sa Radyo Migrante sa CHRY 1055 FM.
I'm Terrence Pulanog. So yeah, the question is, what is Filipino pride to me? Well, I can bring this all the way back. I was born in Canada, so I really never grew up with the Filipino culture. But then once I got into high school, I fell in love with my heritage. I fell in love with like where I came from. So like what I think Filipino pride is loving your heritage and expressing it. So yeah, that's Filipino pride.
Okay, yun po ang ating ending ng ng Pulso na Migrante ngayong gabi. So bago tayo mamaalam at papasukin si Roy sa kanyang show na Odyssey, which is my favorite show actually. So announcements tayo.
Isang bagsak muna sa Diwa ng Kasarinlan.
Okay.
Yes. Ay, hindi ulitin.
Isang bagsak.
Ayun.
Alright.
Okay. Go
So,
ahead, Ish.
for our community listings, Call for Submissions Toronto-based literary collective Akdaan is calling for writers of Filipino descent in Canada and the United States from the various migrant workers communities to submit your works under the theme of migration and migrant labor. Works will be published in December of this year. Please email your entries to grupongakdaan@yahoo.ca or look up Akdaan TO in Facebook. The United Church of Canada, Kairos, Canadian Ecumenical Justice Initiatives, and the International Coalition on Human Rights in the Philippines cordially invite you to a public forum in August 7, 2014, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at the Chapel Room, Trinity St. Paul United Church. That's at 427 Bloor Street West, just west of Spadina. It features the guest speaker, Father Rex Reyes, and he will talk about the Philippines, resource extraction, militarization, and indigenous rights, which way to peace. For more information, contact Josie Forcadilla of UCC at the number 416-231-7680, free admission and refreshments, or email ichrpcanada@yahoo.com. All this will be posted in the Radio Migrante Facebook page. And also a very important petition, grant Lilia Ordinario Joaquin permanent resident status in Canada under the Live-In Caregiver Program class. Lilia Joaquin entered Canada in 2007 and in good faith completed all the requirements of the Live-In Caregiver Program, or LCP. She lived with the family for over 2 years and provided care for their 4 children under the age of 8. During the 2 years she waited for a work permit, Lilia lost her employment. It took her 5 months to find a new employer willing to do all the paperwork for a new live-in caregiver contract, because that was still the only kind of work Lilia was allowed to do. And then a further 3+ months for that paperwork to be processed. Lilia was desperate for income, and her children back home relied on her remittances. So Lilia made the grave mistake of doing some part-time babysitting for that second employer while they waited for the paperwork to be improved. So all the information you can look up that I'm going to state, it's tiny.cc/JOAQUINLCP. That's again tiny.cc/JOAQUINLCP or tiny.cc/JoaquinLCP. And this will be posted also in the Radio Migrante Facebook page.
So bago tayo magtapos, balikan natin yung yung announcement dun sa pagdatingan ni Father Rex Reyes at binanggit yung peace. So dito po sa Radyo Migrante ay patuloy po tayong mananawagan na ibalik na po, i-resume na po yung peace talks, no, between the National Democratic Front of the Philippines and the government of the Philippines para po maugat na po nila kung ano nga ba talaga ang tunay na dahilan kung bakit bakit naghihirap ang sambayan ng Pilipino, nasa labas ka man ng bansa o nasa loob ka man ng Pilipinas. Kaya ho, dito sa Radyo Migrante, patuloy po ang ating panawagan sa puntong yun. Kaya maraming salamat po. Okay?
Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat.
Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat.
Kuya Louie at Tito Pet, maraming salamat at next week po magbabalik po tayo.